Good morning. Okay, so you have devotional and math already, so this is going to be our Latin video. So let's see how we're going to do this. I'm going to start with our recitations, and then we'll kind of go into what Henley is having for you this week in lesson 12. So kind of stay with me at first because we're just going to kind of recite together. So let's start with our conjugations. What are conjugations? They are verb families. Okay, let's go to, since they are verbs, let's go to those 6 attributes of a Latin verb. First, we have conjugation. How many conjugations are there? 4. Okay, let's go to the next attribute. You have person. How many persons are used in a Latin verb? 3. First person, second person, and third person. Okay, let's go to number. How many numbers, or what are the numbers in a Latin verb? We have 2 of them. We have singular and plural. Okay, so we have conjugation, person, and number. We have the first 3. All right, the next one, we have tense. How many tenses are there in a Latin verb? There are 6. We have 2 systems in Latin verbs. We have the present system and the perfect system. We've been working in the present system. In the present system, we have the 3 tenses underneath, which are present tense, imperfect tense, and future tense. In the perfect system, we have the perfect tense, the pluperfect tense, and the future perfect tense, but we're not working with those as much. We're staying in the present system right now with Henley. So present, imperfect, and future in the future tense. So 6 tenses total with those 2 systems. All right, so let's go to the last 2 attributes of a Latin verb, which we haven't moved into those. We are staying in a certain set right now in Challenge A, but we have the voice. There are 2 voices, active and passive. That's the same as English. We have that in our English verbs. And then we have 3 moods, same as in English verbs. We have the indicative mood, the imperative mood, and the subjunctive mood. Right now, with Henley, we are indicative active. So indicative is just regular statements, maybe questions, but in an active voice that the subject is doing the action. Okay, so reviewing that, the 6 attributes of a Latin verb, we have the conjugations. There are 4 of them. Person, there's 3. Number, there's 2. Tense, there's 6 tenses. There are 2 voices and 3 moods. All right, so in the present system, we've gone over that. So let's conjugate, first conjugation verb. Let's take amo, our model verb, and let's take it to the present tense. Ready? Say it with me. Amo, amos, amat, amamus, amatus, amant. All right, let's go to the imperfect tense with the same verb, amo. Amabam, amabas, amabat, amabamus, amabatus, amabant. All right, and then let's take amo through the future tense. Amabo, amabis, amabit, amabimus, amabitus, amabunt. Okay, in imperfect tense, when we translate, we have 2 helping verbs. What are they? Was and were. Okay, in the future tense, the helping verb that we use to translate into English, what helping verb is in the future tense? Will and shall. Okay, but typically we use will. Okay, let's conjugate a second conjugation verb. Let's conjugate moneo. So let's take moneo through the present tense. So moneo, mones, monet, monemus, monetis, monet. Okay, let's take it to the imperfect tense. Monebam, monebas, monebat, monebamus, monebatis, monebat. And let's take it through the future tense. Monebo, monebis, monebit, monebinimus, monebitis, monebunt. Okay, so we're just kind of getting into third conjugation, so we'll do that a little bit more before we put it in our recitations. So that is, let's go to principal parts. We have 4 principal parts, usually, to every verb. So we do have exceptions. The principal parts for first conjugation. We have o, are, avi, atus. Let's take amo through those 4 principal parts. Amo, amare, amave, amatus. All right, let's go to second conjugation. Its principal parts. So doing our model verb moneo, first of all, let's do the principal parts. Ao, airy, with a macron over the E, because we have to have that because that distinguishes it through third conjugation. Third principal part, ui. Fourth principal part, itus. So let's take moneo through those. Moneo, moneri, monui, and monitus. Okay, now principal parts are important because principal parts provide the stems needed to conjugate a verb in all of its tenses. And you're really going to see that when we get to the perfect system, because that's how you find a stem. Because remember, Latin is a language of stems and endings. If we know how to find our stem and we know what ending to attach to that, we can translate Latin. So just know that. But it's all these little parts that we get working together. So principal parts are a part of that we have to commit to memory. Okay, let's go into declensions. So we're done with our verbs. Let's go into declensions in our recitations. Declensions are what? Noun families. They're noun families. We have the conjugations that are our verb families, and we have the declensions that are noun families. So our noun we're going to use to decline in first declension is mensa. So let's take mensa through first declension. Let's decline that noun. Here we go. Mensa, mensae, mensae, mensa, mensa, mensae, mensarum, mensis, mensas, mensis. Okay, so I just remembered I took it through the ecclesiastical. So I'm going to take that back through with classical so we can say your AE with your I, because I know y'all say that with I. So let's take mensa through that again. Mensa, mensai, mensai, mensam, mensa, mensai, mensarum, mensis, mensas, mensis. Okay, so that's first conjugation. I'm sorry, first declension with mensa. All right, let's take second declension, masculine. Now we're going to do deus, dei. Okay, so let's take that through, let's decline that. Deus, dei, deo, deum, deo, dei, deorum, deis, deas, deis. Okay, and let's take second declension neuter. Let's do our noun bellum. Bellum, belli, bello, bellum, bello, bella, bellorum, bellis, bella, bellis. Now remember, we have, I'll hold this up so you can see it. In the neuter, we have a neuter rule. Nominative and accusative are the same, and in singular, and in plural, they are both a. So remember that neuter rule that will help us in our translations. Okay, and then finding endings. Okay, so let's go to third declension. Our noun we're going to decline for the masculine feminine is pater. So let's go. Pater, patris, patri, hang on. Okay, I'm sorry. I just messed up. Okay, let's go back to pater. I confused myself in the neuter rule. Okay, so we're in masculine and feminine. So here we go. Pater, patris, patri, patram, patre, patres, patrum, patribus, patres, patribus. Okay, and let's decline nomen. Third declension, it's going to be neuter, so we're going to remember our neuter rule. Nominative and accusative are the same in singular, and they are a in plural. All right, so nomen. Nomen, nomenis, nomini, nomen, nomine, nomina, nomenum, nomenibus, nomina, nomenibus. Okay, fourth declension. Portus is our noun that we're going to decline. So here we go. Portus, portus, portui, portum, portu, portus, portuum, portuibus, portus, portibus. All right, and let's go fifth declension. The noun we're going to use is race. Race, rei, rei, rem, rei, race, rerum, rebus, race, rebus. Okay, so from declensions, we're going to go into using our gender triangle. Let me see if you can see that. So with our gender triangle, we have our declensions on the bottom, and then we have our genders kind of going up the triangle. So for first declension, remember we look at them like this. So first declension is this, second declension is this, third declension is this, fourth, and then fifth. Okay, so first declension, generally feminine. Second declension, generally masculine and neuter. Third declension has all three, masculine, feminine, and neuter. Fourth declension, generally masculine. Fifth declension, nouns, generally feminine. Okay, so that's the declension gender triangle as a review. Okay, so this week you're going to still be in lesson 12 in Henley. And we are in third conjugation verbs, still working in the present tense. Lesson 12 is on 140 to 146. This week in particular, you're working 144 to 146. So a few things that I want to point out about third conjugation is there's no regular pattern for third conjugation, that these principal parts are going to have to be learned and memorized individually. We'll begin to see patterns in time, but you're going to have to learn how to just memorize those individually and commit those to memory. So let's look at a couple of those so you can kind of see in that second principal part that they're all going to follow the airy pattern, the E-R-E. Now, I kind of mentioned this earlier. In second conjugation, the ending E-R-E has the macron over the first E. In third conjugation, there is no macron, so that's what's going to distinguish it. So all those verbs, that second principal part ends in E-R-E with no macron. Those are third conjugation. They belong to the third conjugation. So there is no macron over that first E in the second principal part, E-R-E. So that kind of helps us know which verb is in which conjugation, is little signs like that. So let's look at a couple of these verbs with their principal parts, and you can kind of see how different they are. Because in first conjugation, we had O, R-A, abi, atus, follow the pattern. Okay, your regular verbs followed that pattern. And then second conjugation, you had AO, airy with the macron E-R-E, and then ui, etus. So those regular verbs followed that pattern. Well, in third conjugation, they're not going to follow a pattern. So let's look at these. Let's look at mito. So we have first principal part, mito. Second principal part, miteri. Third principal part, misi. Fourth principal part, misus. All right? So mito, miteri, misi, misus. Now let's look at another verb in the third conjugation, duco. Okay? Duco, duceri. We can kind of see that pattern following. And then it's duxi, so it brings in an X. And then ductus. Okay, so we can kind of see some, but they are going to be irregular and different. So let's look at intruo, intrueri, instruxi, instructus. So again, you're going to see they're not following a pattern. We're going to have to memorize them individually. So when you get a verb, you're going to take it through its four principal parts just to commit those to memory. And how you're going to do that is saying those principal parts over and over and over, several times a day as you're going through them. And then write them every now and then just so you get the spelling, because the spelling is important. Especially because you're going to have some double S's here, some single S's here, some CT in some and X in some, and sometimes that sounds the same, or can sound close. So we want to spell sometimes, but generally, if we can just drill them orally over and over, we can get there. Okay, so we're going to focus on the future tense this week to kind of see how they're different in third conjugation, mainly in the present tense and the imperfect tense. It is the I's and the E's that change at the stem. And in the future tense, though, we do not use the bo bis bit. That's our main difference here. The future tense, we're going to use the verb mito, and we're going to conjugate it. So future tense, mitam, mites, mites, mitate, mitemus, mitatis, mitent. It uses we've kind of seen this in singular. A first person is im, and then we follow our st, mus, tis, int. We have seen that pattern, but typically we don't have that. We haven't had that in first and second conjugation for the future tense. We usually use bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitus, bunt. So that is our major change, that we do not use bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitus, bunt. It is the endings for the third conjugation future tense are im, st, mus, tis, int. They're like the present tense with ost, mus, tis, int, but instead of, they don't have the bo on there. Okay, so you finish your work on your new Henley for 12, your vocabulary, new grammar, and then your translation exercises. And then don't forget to drill your old grammar and your old vocabulary cards. Okay, that's Latin. If we have any questions, let me know.